All right, good morning, folks. Hope you all doing well today. Let me get this off the screen. All right. Uh, Happy Friday. Today's the 3rd of October, 2025. I know it's a cool morning here in middle Georgia uh, and quite dry, actually, but enjoying a nice, cool fall-ish type weather today. No tropical systems currently out in the open Atlantic. You can see here. This is what's left of Imelda. Um, and we have a tropical wave getting ready to move off the coast of Africa here in the next day or so. Forecast to generally move this way and possibly develop somewhere in here into uh, just possibly develop. I'm going to go over the model guidance with regards to that. And we have another potential system, uh, a system they may develop off the east coast here of Florida. Uh, and we'll go over the model guidance on that too. It's likely to remain weak and disorganized based on what I can see right now. And that being said, National Hurricane Center has these two areas here. This area has a 30% chance of developing in the next 7 days. This area, 10%. So quite low chances. There's a lot of dry air and other negative factors around here. The positive factor, of course, is the warm waters here. So remains to be seen what happens here. And because it's closer to home, we're going to continue to talk about it till there's nothing to talk about. And we'll talk about this too, because all bets are off on where this will eventually go. We'll probably be talking about this for next week or two. Um, so going back to the satellite loop, you look at the mid-level water vapor, kind of gives you an idea of the flow in the atmosphere here. You have these trough off the east coast. Well, more like well, some flow generally going like this, right? So kind of high pressure, generally in this area. Lots of dry air at the mid levels here. And also in the central continental U.S. and the main development region right now, pushing the ITCZ intertropical convergence zone pretty far south. But this pocket of moisture with this tropical wave will move out this direction. And in the central tropical Atlantic, see this building in here behind Imelda down here. We have pretty strong flow going this way and going up. And we'll see if something develops in the generally in this area. Okay. Uh, of course, we have to keep an eye on the Gulf of Mexico during this time, but as of right now, I don't see any imminent threats. But um, always in October and even November uh, gets better chances of something developing here rather than out in the open Atlantic here. So what does the latest model guidance say? Let's first start over about the tropics. Start with Google DeepMind newest ensemble. This is starting on the 8th, which is 5 days from now. So let's back up a little bit. And this is the most recent model run, 18Z. Go back to the 6th, which is Monday. All right, so it has quite a few members wanting to develop something off the East Coast here, but kind of meander around the system in the main development region. and a few members in the Gulf of Mexico going through time. Each load denotes a ensemble member, by the way. Quite a few members here. I really don't know how many members this model has, but um, there were two areas here that the Google DeepMind really wants to develop something. Um, and there's some members that get it quite strong, move it out to the north, right? And more of the weekend members just meandered it around. And maybe, I don't know, it's these areas off the southeast coast are very hard to predict whether anything's going to happen or not. They can meander around for quite some time here. But you see with the Google DeepMind with the main development region, tropical wave, um, quite a bit of spread when you get like 9, 10 days out. All right. This is another Google DeepMind GenCast AA model. So it's part of the DeepMind suite, which is a different model. Um, go through time here. Not as bullish on the system out here off the southeast coast. And quite a few members getting something developed in the Caribbean 7 days from now. Some in the take it straight through the Lesser Antilles. Some move it to the north here, but remains to be seen. And we have at least a week to watch this. But all of them don't really develop anything until maybe in this area here. So, what does the GFS ensemble say about these? This model runs a little bit sooner than the DeepMind, so we're on the 00Z run right now. Wants to start developing this a lot sooner, which is like tomorrow, although not a lot of members out here. Some members off the southeast coast, but not a lot. This model is more bullish about a system in the Central American gyre, but mostly onshore, right? And of course, it wants to develop something in the Caribbean. And I think the National Hurricane Center is going to up the chances in the coming days based on model consistency here. Was the European ensemble, which consists of 51 members, say? Quite a bit of support for something out here along the southeast coast. See if I have a more recent run. There we go. And some on the Gulf of Mexico here, but the system in the Caribbean has the most support, especially from the European ensembles. All right, but close this. Sorry about that. This is the Google DeepMind. A different way to look at it. All these different models here. We have Imelda, which is moving offshore, out to the north there. You have the little dots denoting different models here, right? This is the system in the Caribbean eventually, and it wants to develop below the WeatherNext graph model and developing a tropical storm here, move to the north. The one in the Caribbean, it never really develops into anything. We have some activity in the Eastern Pacific as well, and we get this far out. Not a lot of. It's not really worth going this far out. It's too far out to really be sure about anything. So, um, that being said, we have a lot of time, at least for the one in the Caribbean, to watch it. But I think The one off the southeast coast needs to be watched just because it's so close to Florida, right? But all the models, from what I can tell, at least the ensembles, don't strengthen this much. And if it does, it moves out to sea, out to the Atlantic Ocean, even further from land. Okay. But given that, we're going to go over some of the operational runs here. This is GFS, the latest GFS run. Let's see if I have more recent. No. Okay. Um, you have a weak low off the southeast coast. You can see the moisture associated with this and energy quite a bit here, right? And you have the one in the Caribbean developing before it even reaches the Lesser Antilles. GFS wants to maybe put something out in the open Atlantic here, but I'm not sure if that'll be tropical or not. The system in the Caribbean, a few model runs ago, it wanted to develop it and move it underneath into the Caribbean, but this latest run takes it way east of Bermuda. Okay, operational run. So moving on to the Euro 00Z as of October 12th. Let's back it up a little bit. We have that system off the southeast coast. Lots of unsettled weather here along the Gulf Coast, in the Georgia, on the Gulf of Mexico, but nothing develops. You can see energy out here associated with that tropical wave moving towards the Caribbean. Then we see maybe a low develop right about the same time. And surprisingly enough, the Euro follows what the GFS is thinking right now with this. But this is 11 days out, so a lot can change. What does the European AI model show? Moving through time here. You don't see anything develop off the southeast coast other than a lot of unsettled weather, right? You see the tropical wave here in the Caribbean. Doesn't really develop it, and it moves it further to the west, right? And then it does kind of an Imelda loop here. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. It's going to be really hard for systems to make it onto the East Coast this time of year, but this time of year we can also have really strange patterns develop. So you just never know. But at least with systems that start out in the main development region, okay. So what does the Canadian model say? Going through time here. I know this is kind of boring going through a model sometimes, but I want to be as thorough as possible. Just unsettled weather off the southeast coast and the Gulf, right? And it wants to develop this tropical wave earlier. Move to the north here. All right, and maybe something in the Gulf, but this is a long way out too. Icon. Go back in time. Go forward here. It shows some energy off the southeast coast as well. It just keeps it there, hanging out, right? Eventually moves it out to sea some, and that tropical wave is where it stops. It doesn't really do anything with it, right? So clear as mud, right? But I mean, that's the best we can do with models, and try to analyze future conditions as far out is hard to do. So the global tropics outlook, I showed this yesterday. I'm going to show it again today. 8th through the 14th, clearly shows where they think this tropical wave might develop in the Caribbean. Nothing in the southeast coast, but this is a, a, a weekly forecast. Um, it's not like the first 7 days. So um, you see what the highest chances are here in the Southern Gulf and East Pacific, out in the West Pacific, of course, and the um, Western MDR, and then the middle to later part of October, higher chances right along the favorite areas for the Central American gyre. So that's it for the tropics for today. Next, I'm going to go over the national forecast. All right, as far as the national forecast goes, look at all the dry air to mid levels here. It's crazy. Lots of dry air up in here. I mean, wow. Um, Hard to believe, right? But we have some different features here to talk about. This is the water vapor loop, right? You have the system bowling ball kind of moving in off the west coast here. And this is forecast to move generally in this direction, with some lee side cyclogenesis with a surface flow developing here eventually, um, which will bring some severe weather chances in these areas in the coming days, right? We have some enhanced moisture, a little short wave or something moving through the flow here. Maybe some rainfall going on today. If I bring up the national radar real quick, overlaid here, we can see a lot going on, right? Oh, a lot of there's a boundary looks like off the east coast of the U.S. Moisture streaming onshore, Florida coast here, Gulf Coast, and that enhanced moisture in into Idaho, into the west here, California mountains, right? And that'll continue in the coming days as the system moves on shore here. But overall, quite quiet conditions for the continental U.S., which it's kind of a transition time between more cold fronts coming through and in the summer when there's not a lot of activity. So it's not surprising, but it won't be long until we start seeing more activity, I don't think, So going back to the long range, long wave infrared, this shows higher colder cloud tops that would be associated with, convection and rainfall and storms. This is mostly low level instability right here off the coast, right? And you have some little enhancement um, along the Gulf Coast here, some enhanced rainfall going on, right? And along the Florida coast. Pull this up, right? All right, so what's the future flow in the United States look like? This is the NAM 3 kilometer CONUS. See if I have a more recent run here. I do. This is 51 hours out. You can see the bowling ball. This is a mid-level flow, right? Off the east coast there, west coast, sorry. Mid-level high over most of the country, which we saw a lot of dry air, right? Okay, so that system moves on shore. Ejects over the Rockies. High pressure firmly in place here at the mid levels over the eastern U.S. System ejects over the Rockies. Quite a deep system getting going here, right? So at the 850 millibar level, which is lower in the atmosphere and give us a better idea of our surface flow. See, generally from the south up here, and you see the easterlies here, pretty deep easterly flow over Florida, the southeast, and this enhanced flow starts to make itself low-level jet here, really picks up. It'll pick up even more with the lee side cyclogenesis going on, which not a strong low. It just, but it does develop quite a bit of enhanced flow here, right? When you get towards the end of the period, and it also serves to, well, anyway, towards the end of the period, you still have flow off the Atlantic, which is with a fetch like this, you don't normally get a lot of heavy rain unless you have some overrunning moisture. Um, if you have the flow this way, parallel to a flow this way at the upper levels, that could lead to some enhanced lift. Um, and if we go back, it could end up happening, but we'll just have to see how that ends up working out. But you can see the general flow pattern here. Okay, so what's the radar in general going to look like? Let's go to the NAM 3 kilometer CONUS is its future radar. All right. Again, we have the storms off the southeast coast, off the coast of Florida, and in the northwest here. Dry as a bone in the deep south and much of the country, right, except in the Intermountain West, as that trophic jets off here. Then we talking about severe weather, 48 hours out as it ejects. And as the surface low gets developed up here, we'll see if we get enough moisture return to get something going. And you can see where the most convection is in the southeast coast, Florida coast, and on the Gulf Coast, and up in the northern high plains. So this is more of a model depiction of the surface pattern, right? I know I just showed you the future radar, but this is another way to look at the reflectivity and low pressures. We have that low pressure off the coast here. Enhanced moisture and flow. You can see the flow better here a little bit. And the Rockies kind of has a lot of different pressure surfaces because of the mountains, right? Going through time, that low is just hanging around out here according to this model. Maybe one in the Gulf as well. Very weak though. That surface high pressure firmly in place here. It stays that way. Maybe moves offshore a little bit. And you see that surface low developing here as the trough ejects. Some wraparound and snow on the backside here to Montana, the northern tier, right? So it looks like it's in the mountains, but we'll start seeing more of that in the coming days. And that trough ejects up to the north here. It doesn't look like the Gulf of Mexico is going to be open too much here for return flow, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. More of the current hazards. Got flood watch on the east coast of Florida. Some red flag warnings in the northern high plains, Wyoming. South Dakota, dense fog advisory into Minnesota. Some other wind advisories down here in the desert Southwest. Some other flood watches, flash flood watch, flood warnings, and freeze watch up here in the mountains. Wow, that's crazy. But hey, it's that time of year, right? Storm Prediction Center, day one, severe weather outlook. We have that severe weather with that trough marginal risk developing here in the Mountain West. Low tornado risk, marginal hail risk, marginal wind risk. Okay. Day two, which is Saturday through Sunday, less than 2% tornado risk, 2% marginal hail risk, and wind risk. We go to day three, general thunderstorms, no. Highlight areas where significant severe weather will be occurring. And these are the areas where we have just general thunderstorm chances. Okay. So the precip. This is expected precip, at least 0.1 inches, right? I show this starting between now and Saturday. All right, I go through time here. The darker greens denote the most precip each 24-hour period. Move to the northern tier, and in the southeast, right, is where the most precip is expected in the coming days through Monday morning or Sunday evening. Okay, so temperatures. These are high temps. Go through time. Saturday. See where the warmest temps are. All in the pretty much bifurcates the Continental U.S. And the warm temps get pushed to the south. And by next Thursday, good portion of the country is highs in the 70s, except for the deep south, southeast, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's going to be nice. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to it. Minimum temperatures. We go through this again. It's nice and cool here in the 60s, right? Minimum temperatures are definitely feeling good. You see the really cold temps, a lot of freezing temps up here, dipping southward, right? Southward and eastward. So, yeah, get ready. Fall's coming, right? And finally, the long range temperature outlook issued yesterday. Near normal in the northeast expected 8th through the 12th of October. Above normal for a good part of the country and near normal in the this is bullseye out here out west. Precip above normal expected along the east coast, below normal in the central U.S. into the Ohio Valley, and above normal in the west here. And temperatures still supposed to be above normal here, the 10th through the 16th, 8 to 40-day temp outlook. You see where the deeper reds are, where it's projected to be above normal. Likely below normal out here in the northwest. And precip chances stay below normal down here in the south. That's we got some real issues with drought going on right now, and this is the drought update for Georgia. Moderate drought and severe drought have expanded across portions of central Georgia over the past week. So we One abnormally dry conditions in middle Georgia, and there's a severe drought and say moderate severe drought in southern Georgia, and most of the state um, is in a drought condition, and it's not forecast to um, improve anytime soon. So, hate to say, but one can hope for a tropical system to bring us more moisture, and but not be impacting more than that. So we'll see what happens. That's all I got, guys. I hope you all have a great day and take care. I'll see you tomorrow.